And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/Takes by Fans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered in multiple ways. Alrighty, folks, today's a big Monday, and yes, All-Star Weekend has officially wrapped up, but still no basketball on today, tomorrow, or Wednesday. But that's great because we have to finish up our power rankings in the NBA. We started it yesterday, talked out some great things. We have the top 8 teams so far ranked. Let me go to this. We've got the top 8 ranked so far. It's still 2 more spots, but there's also 6 more teams that we need to go over and evaluate. So this kind of top 8 that we've got is just a working list, like we were kind of saying yesterday. Had part 1 yesterday, ready to finish it up today. So we'll be finishing up the NBA power rankings at the mid-season point. Want to get that all good to go for when the league resumes on Thursday, so then we can have our classic every week re-updating our power rankings. But like we said yesterday, now that the NFL season is officially over, we can go a little bit more in depth into the NBA season. And perfect time with the NBA All-Star break, some extra time to kind of reset and all that. So finishing up the NBA power rankings today, and if we have time, we will start our NFL kind of final thought list that we will go through every single team and just kind of write down our final thoughts of what happened this season, what was our overall takeaways. So, in kind of the 7-month interim of no NFL football, I should say, that we don't kind of forget or let kind of the media kind of dictate and kind of do revisionist history on what happened in the NFL season. So we're going to get all of our final thoughts down, and we'll go through kind of conference through conference, team by team, spend some time, deep time on some teams. Maybe we go through other teams quicker, just kind of getting out all of our final thoughts. So if we have time, we will start that. But if we don't have time, those will start tomorrow. So yeah, some stories to talk about in the NFL as well. So we'll go over those. The NBA All-Star Game was last night. We'll quickly touch upon that. And that's what we've got for today's show. So before we jump into the NBA, let's go over some NFL stories or just some stories in general. Then we'll head over to the Then we'll head over to the NBA power rankings, and then if we have time, we will head over to the NFL final thoughts list. So let's start the show here with the first story up here, and I just want to quickly talk about this because spring football, we want it. I think we all want it. Now, we don't want it to be garbage, and that's kind of what we were seeing a little bit with the USFL and XFL when they were kind of trying to do their seasons. We saw, I don't think any of those seasons really ended, no. I think the USFL did crown a champion, but it was a little bit, there was no playoffs. I think they just gave it to the highest seed at the end because they did get cut short, and then the XFL went bankrupt or something. Both the spring footballs, when they tried to get revived the last couple of years, they just truly did not work out, but now they're trying to do it again. We get the USFL this season, we get the XFL next year, but now we get this, the XFL in the NFL are having a little bit of a partnership going on. Now, the only reason I want to kind of bring this partnership up, is because there's only going to be one spring football. We're not going to be having the XFL and the USFL simultaneously every single year for the rest of our lives. That's not going to happen. And the reason why it's not going to happen is because there's not enough players to do that. That's the biggest kind of blind spot I think that spring football is just kind of not seeing or not wanting to see, is the players. I mean, there's not that many great talented players that can play football, and especially at the quarterback position. I mean, the NFL is struggling to have 32 good quarterbacks, let alone good backups. So now we're going to a lower league, the XFL, the USFL, and we saw the quarterback play already. There was like one good quarterback, P.J. Walker, and then he ended up going to the Carolina Panthers, which was pretty cool. But there was like one good quarterback in spring football. And we know the quarterback position is the most important position in any football, college, high school, middle school, Pop Warner, whatever level of football. If you don't have a quarterback, it's not going to be that good of a product overall on the field. And that's what we were kind of seeing with the USFL and XFL. In 2019, 2020, before they officially just kind of, went under both the leagues. So the fact that the NFL is partnering with the XFL, that's not looking too good for the USFL. So we get this partnership between the NFL and the XFL, and they're basically, the XFL is all about innovation. So they're going to be kind of experimenting with proposed rule changes, testing new equipment, and developing prospective officials and coaches. Now, I think that's definitely the coolest thing about the partnership, developing prospective officials and coaches. So we get kind of coaches that can work their way up to the next level, maybe go to college, and then the middle step of spring football, and then go to the NFL. More diversity, hopefully, in coaches as well. Hopefully we don't get big old racism back in the XFL. Hopefully not with The Rock. I mean, come on. And then for prospective officials, I mean, we always talk about garbage officiating in the NFL. So if we get kind of this, middle ground between college and the NFL for some officials to get some great experience and then work their way up into the NFL and be good officials in the NFL, yeah, I'm definitely all about that. Experimenting with proposed rule changes. I'm not the big, we don't want this to be like a clown show overall. We don't want, every single week a new rule or just kind of crazy rules. And I definitely expect the XFL to kind of experiment with the no onside kick that the NFL is so desperately wanting to implement, that I really do not like at all. The NFL is just trying to get away from kicking, really kind of all together. That's what everybody in the media really wants, and I don't agree with any of that. I love having kicking being kind of the third facet of the game, special teams, punting, field goals, kickoffs, all of that. And we saw, it does change the game. The Packers just lost because their special teams was trash. I don't think we should get rid of kicking altogether. I think it is a huge piece of football. And shout out to, Justin Tucker, who hit the 66-yarder. So kicking is not dead in the NFL, folks, but we do have to kind of retool the onside kick system. Once again, everybody's crying out for, oh my God, nobody can ever get the onside kick. Well, yeah, because the NFL is the one that is actively hindering that by having the safety rules on the kicking plays, special teams plays. So it's not that the NFL doesn't want more onside kicks to happen, or just kind of a team to kind of get the possession twice. I don't really know what the NFL is trying to do there. I mean, we saw in the Pro Bowl, they experiment with kind of the 4th and 14 from wherever you want it, and I absolutely hated that. I don't think they completed any of them, and it just looks so stupid, and it looks so gimmicky, and we're going more towards an offensive league and a passing league, and then if you implement this change, it's just like, why do we even need the special teams? Why do we even need the kicking? So, we'll see how many proposed rule changes the XFL implements to try to get a nice gauge for the NFL to potentially implement. But the biggest story here is that there is an official partnership between the NFL and the XFL. Now it all makes sense why The Rock was at the Super Bowl for some reason, out on the field introducing players. So that's why they have the partnership. This comes out a week later. Real coincidental? No. So, not good news for the USFL here. There's not enough talent to fund 2 different spring league teams. And for the US, I mean, and both these leagues are having like 8 teams each. I mean, they don't even have like enough teams to like they don't have enough talent players wise to fund like a 32 league like the NFL. So we get like 8 teams. There already not enough players to fund those 8 teams. So if we have 2 8-team leagues, that's not gonna be working out. And for the USFL, they're not even on TV this season. They're gonna be live tweeting the games. They're going to be live tweeting the games. You must follow the official USFL teams, and they will tell you what is happening because they're not going to be broadcast anywhere. So already USFL is already behind the 8 ball because they're not going to be streamed anywhere. You're not going to be able to watch these games anywhere. The XFL and the NFL are already partners. So the USFL, you better hope you've got some great competition. You better hope those quarterbacks play their tails off, because overall, people are going to flock to the better competition, the better entertainment, and really, whoever has the better quarterbacks, the XFL or the USFL, is probably going to be the one league to succeed. So, USFL, you've got a 1-year head start on the XFL, but other than that, you're behind the 8 ball miles behind the 8 ball. You can't even see the 8 ball. That's how behind the 8 ball. You think you're in front of the 8 ball because you're like, oh, I can't see the 8 ball, so I must be in front of the 8 ball. No, you're so far behind the 8 ball that you can't see the 8 ball. That's why you cannot see it. So, I can't wait for the USFL. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I'm going to be talking about it. We'll be betting on it if we can. It's going to suck that we can't watch it, but if we can bet on it, maybe we'll do that. But we'll see how it plays out. Spring football this season, spring football next season with the XFL, and we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see which one survives, if any survive, but you need a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, then you can't pass. And what is the NFL? All passing. Why is it all passing? Because that's what, according to their data, that's what people want to see. I don't necessarily 100% agree with that, but they're still making money, and the Super Bowl was like the highest rated Super Bowl in like the last 7 years. So who am I? Who am I to judge, right? So we'll see how it all plays out, but not great for the USFL coming up in a couple of months. I think it kicks off in April, so not great. All right, next story up here, and okay, you can say this, but all right. Lovie Smith believes the Texans can make Bengals-like leap in 2022, saying, quote, "Why not us? Why not yo? Why not y'all? Why not the Texans? I'll tell you why not the Texans. Because you have Davis Mills. Davis Mills is not Joe Burrow. Come on, we saw Joe Burrow rookie year look fantastic. Davis Mills rookie year looked good at the end of the year. That was it. Oh, and another reason why you cannot make a Bengals-like leap. You don't have the same head coach. Zach Taylor was there 2 straight years. You were there, defensive side of the ball, but you got rid of the head coach. And nobody really liked that inside the team. They really wanted Will Culley back. Everybody wanted Will Culley back inside the locker room, and everybody wanted Rich Bisaccia back in the locker room. So we'll see how both of those teams play out, not having truly the full support from the locker room behind them right from the get-go. We'll see if they can earn it and all that. That's a different story. But right off the rip, you're changing a system. And Lovie Smith, you've done nothing as a head coach. You've been a head coach before. Why couldn't you have done a Bengals-like leap before the Bengals-like leap? You were a head coach. You were the head coach for the Bears 2004 to 2014. 2015, you went to the Bucks, and you never got it done. You never won a ring, or even got to the Super Bowl. We got to the Super Bowls in 2006, I believe, with the Bears. Ended up losing to, I believe, Peyton Manning and the Colts. I think that's the Colts' first Super Bowl. But, I mean, that's why you can't make a Bengals-like leap. That's why. You've been a head coach before, and you've done nothing great. So, no, you're not going to be able to do a Bengals-like leap. But the optimism is there, so I guess I give him a little credit for that. Got to have the optimism. But let's see what Lovie Smith is truly saying here. Let's get what the quote is and see what his kind of full thinking is, and if he truly believes they can make a Bengals-like leap. They also need a better wide receiver, so hopefully you can draft a great wide receiver that wins Rookie of the Year. You also need that as well. All right, but here we go. Let's read the first lead up here. Lovie Smith isn't leaving anything out of the question in his first season as Texans head coach. Just look at the Bengals. That's what Lovie Smith will tell you when asked about the potential of his team in 2022, saying, quote, "We won 4 games this year." Yeah, you did, but not you as a head coach. So that's different, okay? Quote, "We won 4 games this season. The Bengals won 4 the year before, and this was a big year for them. We don't have to wonder. We just saw them do it. Someone's going to make that jump. Someone always does. Why not us?" So I do love that, and you should definitely be preaching that in the locker room. I absolutely love that, but I mean, you know, he's not the guy, folks. We didn't even like the hire in the beginning. In the first place, giving Will Culley only 1 year just made no sense to us. So I don't know. Maybe the Texans can do it, but we definitely need the defense to improve. I can see Davis Mills being good. Obviously not to the level of Joe Burrow, but good enough to win games and be competitive in games and maybe have the ball in his hands on the final possession to either win or lose the game, depending on how he plays. I can definitely see Davis Mills being kind of that game managing quarterback this season, but I mean, then we need the running back. They don't have a Joe Mixon. Then we need a Jamar Chase, and they got Brandon Cooks, but is he going to stay again this season? We'll see. Then we need an entire good defense. We need a good defense because that's the worst thing about the Texans team this season. Their defense was atrocious. They got beat on the deep ball time and time again. Oh, and wasn't that Lovie Smith? Wasn't that what he was doing with the Texans this season? Defensive kind of assistant coordinator. So the defense was the worst thing about the team, and now you're the head coach. So that's why you will not be making a Bengals-like leap. The team that may be making a Bengals-like leap is going to be the Dolphins. They got everything. They've got the coach that believes in the quarterback. They've got the quarterback. They have kind of a Jalen Waddle who can potentially be maybe not as good as Jamar Chase, but very, very close next season with the genius of Mike McDaniel's offensive mind. And Lovie Smith, another reason why you can't make a Bengals-like leap. Look at the 2 teams in the Super Bowl. Look at their head coach, Sean McVay, Zach Taylor, offensive guys. You are not an offensive guy. The offense will be lackluster. You need the offense to get you to the big game, and then you need the defense to win you the big game. So you're not an offensive guy, so the offense is not there, and you were the defensive guy this season, and the defense was absolutely atrocious. Like worst in the league in every category. So, or like bottom 3 of the league in every category defensively. So those are just a few reasons, Lovie Smith, why you will not be able to make a Bengals-like leap. Okay? Now, I love the optimism. Don't give up the optimism. I know I'm just talking, I know I'm knocking you, but keep that optimism. You definitely need that in the locker room, but no, it's not going to happen. You can be optimistic. We'll be a little pessimistic until we see something. You got to prove it to us, and we've got no problem buying into as long as you prove something to us, and Lovie Smith has never really proven anything to us. So you can keep the optimism, but no, you will not be making a Bengals type leap. Yes, you are correct. We don't have to wonder. We just saw a team do it. Someone's going to make that jump. Someone always does. Yeah, someone always makes that jump, but it's not going to be you. I can guarantee. Do I guarantee? I think I guarantee. That'll be one of our predictions in this upcoming offseason. They will not make the leap. All right, we got one more quote, so let's read the last lead up here. Smith isn't placing Mills on a path destined for Catton, but he's excited by the quarterback's potential, saying, quote, "What gives me optimism is I got a chance to see Davis Mills. How many special quarterbacks are there out there? There's a few, but there's a lot of good quarterbacks. I think we will have a good quarterback for the Houston Texans. We have the 3rd pick in the draft right now. There's a possibility of us getting a great quarterback added to our team, or a lot of draft picks to get in more players. Something's positive's going to come out of that." So, okay, that's another reason why you will not make the Bengals-like leap. Where's the believability and confidence in Davis Mills? You said, what gives me great optimism is I got a chance to see Davis Mills. How many special quarterbacks are out there? There's a few. So you're not calling Davis Mills a special quarterback. You're calling him a good quarterback, same quote, but there's a lot of good quarterbacks. I think we have a good quarterback for the Houston Texans. So yeah, that's why you don't have the believability. We just saw Brian Flores not have the believability in Tua, and look at Tua this season. He was good, not great. Who can be great? You're not getting the greatness out of him because you're not believing in him. And then you're saying, yeah, we got the 3rd round pick and we may draft a quarterback. There's a possibility of us getting a special great quarterback. So what is this backhand compliment of Davis Mills, but then you're optimistic that you can make the Bengals leap? Stop. So yeah, you're already done. Lovey, we're done. A bad hire right off the rip, and we're like 1 week into the offseason, officially. So, yeah, this is not working out already. What an absolute blunder by this Texans team by not keeping Will Culley, who believed in Davis Mills 100%, that actively saw Davis Mills get better at the back end of the season. Man, oh man, to go to Lovie Smith, I do not understand it at all. So, Lovie Smith is optimistic about making a Bengals-like leap, but he's not optimistic in Davis Mills. Lovey, the quarterback is the most important position in the league. I don't know if you know this or not, because you're on the defensive side of the ball. They don't really know too much about the offense, and now he's the head coach. So, good luck, Houston. Houston, good luck, yes? Jeez Louise. So, that's what Lovie Smith says, folks. I don't think I don't see it the same way he does, but we'll see how it all plays out. All right, what else do we got up next here? All right, here we go. Talk about the Giants now, and this is going to be interesting because we know the Giants are loaded offensively. I mean, this could be the team that makes the Bengals leap. If I'm betting on any team to make a Bengals leap, the Texans are the last person I bet. I bet the Dolphins over that, and I could definitely bet on the Giants making that Bengals leap. But the salary cap could get in the way, so we'll go through this article. But just overall, offensively, they've got so much talent. Let's bring up the depth chart up here. Obviously, bringing in Brian Daboll as their head coach was, the thing that really kicked off our big optimism on the Giants moving forward. So they got the right hire. They got a offensive mind guy at the head coaching position. We've got Daniel Jones, who, this is going to be his last season, sink or swim. This is all you've got. Everybody's kind of been giving you the benefit of the doubt, which is kind of surprising. Honestly, I'm always surprised when I go on social media and everybody is still giving Daniel Jones the benefit of the doubt. Now, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I still want to give Daniel Jones the benefit of the doubt, and I will still be giving Daniel Jones the benefit of the doubt. But I don't think we've ever seen this ever by anybody in the media or everybody on social media all collectively together giving Daniel Jones his 4th opportunity. I mean, people are ready to kind of rip their quarterbacks' heads off after 1 year, even though they've been proven and having one down year. People are giving no love to Baker Mayfield, and he's winning games at the minimum. Not so quite this season, but last year he was winning games. Daniel Jones never won anything in the NFL. So the fact that everybody is still behind Daniel Jones, I kind of love it. I do kind of respect y'all for that. So I will give y'all credit for not abandoning Daniel Jones and doing the classic, oh, he's garbage. So that's definitely surprising. And I'm always surprised when I go on social media and see, oh, Daniel Jones is good. I was like, yeah, Daniel Jones is good. You're right. Yeah. So shout out to y'all for that. But yeah, we got Daniel Jones, Brian Daboll. That should work. Maybe not to the level of Brian Daboll and Josh Allen, but I mean, on the basis, they are the same quarterback. And I know everyone's saying, oh, don't you ever compare Josh Allen to Daniel Jones. And I get that at the surface level. I get it. But overall, I mean, they're bigger quarterbacks. They're a little bit beefier. Josh Allen a little bit more beefier. They both have strong arms. Maybe Josh Allen a little bit of a stronger arm. They're both good runners. Yes, Josh Allen a little bit better. But overall, on the same basis, they are the same prototypical quarterback, so it should work on some level. Then you go with Saquon Barkley, who, this is the one that, how everybody, agrees Daniel Jones can be good. Saquon Barkley, not everybody's behind Saquon Barkley and giving him the benefit of the doubt. So, Saquon Barkley may be good, may not. Overall, you've got a solid running back. I don't think it's any worse than the average. It's obviously not Derrick Henry-esque, because, obviously. But it's solid. Good tier 2 running back. It's winning football running back. I guess we can win with Saquon Barkley, right? Is that where we can all agree we can win with Saquon Barkley on our team and get good production from him on a gamely basis? He's not all-star, he's not tier 1, but he's good, he's winnable. Can we all agree on that? I think we can. Then the wide receivers, Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney. And Kadarius Toney, folks, we're still holding out hope that this man could be fantastic. A little bit of Tyreek Hill-esque. Obviously not as good as Tyreek Hill. Like Daniel Jones, not as good as Josh Allen, but same kind of prototypical receiver. We can still get that out of Kadarius Toney. And then we have Darius Slayton, John Ross. So we're going 5 deep receivers here that are all pretty good. I mean, I would take these wide receivers on my team. I've got speed, I got size, I got strength. Is there any beef here? Is Sterling Shepard beefy? I don't know if we got the beef at the receiver position. He's 201. Okay, I'll give him that. But we've got some solid height and some solid speed there, and that's really what you need from the wide receiver position. Look at Cooper Kupp, look at Tyreek Hill, getting it done. Look at Jamar Chase, getting it done in the Super Bowl, all that. So the receivers are solid, the running back's solid, the quarterback is solid, and then the tight ends, Evan Ingram, and they've got Kyle Rudolph. So the offense is truly stacked here, but they may be a little bit over the cap, and that's where we're going to get whether or how great this Giants team can be. It's really all going to be who they keep on their team. So we get this right here. Giants general manager Joe Schoen says the New York has, quote, some tough decisions to make on roster to get below the salary cap. So this is where the Giants could run into a big old kind of roadblock. They are taking off. They are jet setting at the current moment with everything that they have. But once the new league season rolls around and they have to start making the tough decisions, that's where we can see this great talented roster at the moment get a little bit depleted. So let's quickly read some quotes here, see what the general manager what his overall thinking is, what he kind of plans on doing, and if we could still maybe be this excited, because we're big on this Giants team. And I know we were big on this Giants team last offseason, but now we got Brian Daboll, so we're back into the driver's seat of loving this Giants team. But let's see what their potential plan is going to be and who they may potentially have to cut to get under the salary cap. Are we just talking about, maybe honestly getting rid of Saquon Barkley? You may just have to bite the bullet, get a running back in the draft, get another running back in free agency or whatever it is. But I think you really have to keep the receivers. I would keep the receivers over Saquon Barkley. And I don't want to knock Saquon Barkley or take that as a dig. I like Saquon Barkley. We have a canvas of him, folks, right there, that beefy leg. We loved it all off season. But if there's somebody to get us under the salary cap, I think I gotta go with Saquon Barkley. And I know his contract's got to be pretty good, or is he still under the rookie? But let's go into the article to truly find out. So here we go. All right, here we go. First quote. So let's read the lead up here. Gettleman went shopping in 2021 and retirement called him from the table before the bill came due. Schoen is stuck with the tab and now needs to figure out how to maneuver the Giants into financially solvent position entering 2022, starting with shedding roughly $12 million in existing salary to get under the league's projected $208.2 million salary cap. Now, we do expect the salary cap to increase from last season to this season, and they still need to get under the salary cap. That is truly overspending. And then weren't they kneeling the ball? Weren't the Giants the one kneeling the ball like week 17 from their own 5-yard line on like third down? They were kneeling the ball. Wasn't that the Giants? So you spend all this money just to kneel the ball? How crazy. David Gettleman, thank goodness that man is gone. Oh my goodness. All right, but here we go. First quote by the general manager says, quote, "First off, we have to get underneath the cap. We have to make some tough decisions here in the near future just to get in a place where we can sign draft picks and be below the cap. There's a fine line because you can't purge." Alrighty, so, we don't get any real insight by him. Let's read in this article, they're kind of outlining some numbers here. So here we go. James Bradberry is the first player who comes to mind thanks to his 2022 cap number of $21.8 million. Oh my goodness. All right, James Bradberry, I believe he's on the defensive side of the ball. He is their corner. All right, and we know this Giants defense was pretty solid, so seems like they may be looking defensively first before they go offense, and that's, makes a little bit of sense because you get Brian Dable, you're going to let him kind of be like, no, I want everything offensively you already have, so cut that defensive out. Whatever it is, we'll cut the defense. So James Bradberry, potential cornerback, will be on the market, trying to clear up $21.8 million. We get Adoree Jackson join the New York on a 3-year deal that included a cap-friendly first year that is suddenly not as welcoming in 2022. Jackson's cap number jumps from $6.7 million to $15.2 million. So another corner out here. So they may be a little bit weaker defensively, may have to get a little bit younger here defensively. To kind of, keep up under the salary cap. Right behind Jackson is Blake Martinez, a tackling machine and a key part of the New York's defense, whose loss to injury significantly hindered the Giants in 2021. Cutting him would clear $8.5 million, but again, make the Giants worse. So, all right, we are kind of breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief since all kind of the big cap numbers are on the defensive side of the ball. Now, you still need defense to win the champion. That's really how the NFL always plays out, folks. Offense carries you to the big game. Defense wins you the big game. You got 2 weeks to prepare. I mean, whatever you do offensively, the defense is going to have ample time to figure it out and shut it down. And that's what, the Rams did. Final drive, defense, sacking Joe Burrow, and there it is. He can only get to midfield. The offense that was so great all season, Joe Burrow was always so clutch, getting up after every single sack. Joe Cool, Joe Shiesty, Joe clutches, hack, big time throws, down, coming back, all of that. No, it's no dice at the end of the day because the defense wins the championships. So we still need a defense, but we still, first, building a good team, you need the offense to put up some points at some point. So offense gets you to the playoffs, wins you some playoff games. Defense wins you the ring. And this Giants team, we're not expecting them to, are we expecting them to win the ring year one with Brian Dable? I would say a little bit of a process, getting 8, 9, 10 wins and getting into a playoff game. I think that's basically the first step that they kind of have to do here. I don't think we go from, financial disaster right before the season starts to Super Bowl winners. So we are still going to be a little concerned about this Giants defense. May have to kind of shore it up in the draft, and that's definitely possible because there's, I don't know, is there any big name offensively going in the draft? There's really no quarterback, and they don't need a quarterback. So maybe this is going to be a very big defensive heavy draft, and they can clean up by, getting under the cap and then just going young defensively. Could happen. All right, here else we go. Now we're getting into some offensive players here. Here we go, Saquon Barkley. The bad news on Barkley. The Giants are going to have to play this out or find a trade partner interested in taking on $7.2 million in guaranteed salary for 1 year for 2022. We get Kenny Golladay. His cap goes from 4.47 to 21. Oh my God. He gets $21.15 million this season. That's another kind of quick cut as well. And then once again, we did say that they're very deep at wide receiver. We know Kenny Golladay would probably be, A1 tier 1 with this roster, but you get rid of him, you can keep the defense. We're just trying to get under 12. They got to cut 12 million, I believe it said, and he's worth 21 at this moment. So maybe you get rid of Kenny Golladay. That could also work as well. All right, we get 2 more quotes from Sean. So here we go. Let's read the first lead up here quickly. Yes, here we go. Injuries factored into our evaluation of a lot of these players. Galladay has had his medical struggles in recent seasons, as did teammate Sterling Shepard in 2021. Here's another one who could be on the move, though a departure wouldn't make the Giants better anywhere but on the books. So here we go. Joe Schoen says, quote, the players were paid those contracts they're making because at some point they were performing at a certain level. Whether they were overvalued or maybe they got more than how they were performing or not, that's where you're going to have to free up some money. And definitely injuries devastated the Giants at the back end of the season. Daniel Jones, Sterling Shepard, Kenny Galladay, Kadarius Toney. I mean, everybody was injured on this Giants team. Truly unfortunate. So now high cap numbers coming off of injuries and all that. We'll see. Brian Daboll's going to have he's going to be in the ear of Joe Schoen here of, who we can kind of get rid of and live without offensively to make it all work. And then the last quote right here, final lead up, here it is. With all this in mind, it's easier to understand why the Giants are positioning themselves to continue with Daniel Jones as their quarterback in 2022. Schoen doesn't have much of a choice when attempting to remedy the team's cap situation left behind by Gettleman, saying, quote, I don't want to purge the roster because we still want to find out what Daniel Jones can do. Truly that. We all just want to know, is Daniel Jones good or not? Because we see great glimpses. The man is an athlete. The man has an arm. But decision-making, leadership, accuracy for an entire season, that is truly big question marks because he's never had any offensive guys behind him. Do you all understand why having an offensive-minded coach at the head coaching position is so big? We're going into year 4 with Daniel Jones, and we have no idea what this man is, folks. All right, final quote. Back at it. We got some good pieces on defense, the fine balance, the fine line is cutting players that can really help you win, but you also got to get under the salary cap. Then you're going to have the draft pick. So we get no big insight by Schoen. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more insight, but there's big money on the defensive side of the ball. There's big money on the offensive side of the ball. And it's going to come down to which one do we have a little bit more depth on? Which one can we go a little bit younger and still be good and be competitive this season? So the Giants are going to be truly interesting to watch. Finally got rid of Gettleman, bringing in Joe Schoen. We'll see if he can bring this Giants team back to some relevance in the NFL, some relevance in their own division. But the big thing is Daniel Jones. We're going to get his final look. One final chance with Daniel Jones. Do they give him all the big support? Do they keep the big money offensively? Do they give the man no weapons at all? We'll see how it all plays out. But there's big-time decisions to be made here by the Giants, and this is going to make or break it. This is where it starts, folks. When we look back, going to next season, at the end of next season, if they were good, they made the right decision on cutting the offense or defense side of the ball. If they're bad, we're going to trace it back to be like, yeah, they should not have cut Kenny Galladay. They should have went defense, anything like that. So this is where it starts. This is where it starts, and this is why the NFL offseason is so gosh dang entertaining, folks, because it all starts now. It all starts now. Even though we don't play for about 7 more months, it all starts now. So we'll see how Joe Schoen and the Giants take care of their salary cap issues. All right, then just some last things quickly here. San Francisco 49ers tight end George Kittle tells TMZ Sports that Trey Lance is ready to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. So we know Jimmy Garoppolo is 100% done with the 49ers. They're looking for a trade partner. They're collaborating to try to find a trade partner. So it's not like, Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't want to be traded. He's still trying to put his foot down. He knows it's coming. They're working together to get him out of there. And now it's just going to be Trey Lance. And I don't believe in the guy at all. I've got zero believability in Trey Lance. We're going to watch this man sometime in the offseason, go back to his game that he played this season and all that, but I don't see anything great with Trey Lance. We get George Kittle, confidence behind Trey Lance, but what else is he going to say? I mean, you're going to call your franchise quarterback not good? I mean, you can't do that. You can't do that at any position, folks. We say that all the time. You must have believability, whether it's there or not in your heart. You must show him love and believe and stand by him until he's no longer there, and then you can trash him. Who cares? But George Kittle going to bat bat for Trey Lance, and we'll see if that works out. I say no, but we'll see what happens with Trey Lance. And then this very quickly right here. Derrick Henry is so gosh dang good, folks. So gosh dang good. And yes, he got injured this season. We hope he doesn't make a habit out of it. We got to knock on wood. But man, oh man, this man is great, folks. How great is he? Derrick Henry is so great that Colts linebacker Darius Leonard spends the entire offseason preparing just to face Derrick Henry. He spends the entire offseason not thinking about the entire schedule, not thinking about the entire NFL landscape, not even kind of trying to get after the Super Bowl champions, defending Super Bowl champions. No. He gets ready for Derrick Henry. That's it. That's all he prepares for. I don't care about Joe Mixon. I don't care about Christian McCaffrey. I don't care about the wide receivers, Cooper Kupp. I can catch up with him. Who cares? Tyreek Hill, I can catch up with him. Who cares? I care about tackling the Mack truck, the beefiness of Derrick Henry. Ooh, I love the respect behind Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is the greatest running back of all time, folks. We know this already. So that's how great he is, folks. Defenders spend the entire season just preparing for him alone. And then we get this. And you know how we just kind of, stated that the bigs are taking over the NFL? Well, maybe that's kind of trickling down to the NFL. Or in the NBA. The bigs are taking over the NBA. It's trickling a little bit down to the NFL here. The bigs, folks. The big, beefy running back, Darius Leonard. Oh, my goodness, great. One of the best linebackers that there is in the league. Takes the entire offseason to prepare for Derrick Henry. And then we get this. Most rushing yards since 2019. Guess who's number one, folks? Can y'all take a guess at who's the best running back since 2019? Go ahead, take a guess, folks. It's not that hard. We just said his name. Beefy man, beefcake, he's the beefcake here. Derrick Henry, folks, 4,500 yards. Second highest is Dalvin Cook, 3,851 yards. So, I mean, we're talking about, hang on, 700, there it is. Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know why my math wasn't going, but 700 more yards, folks. 700 more yards than the second highest running back. Give that man his credit. Best running back in the league, hands down by far at the current moment. And I definitely say he makes his case for greatest running back of all time. So, I will never forgive the NFL gods of taking away Derrick Henry from us this season. They tried to make up for it by giving us one playoff game, but that's all it was, one playoff game. We needed that man to win a ring to make up for not being able to see that man all 17 weeks this season. So, Derrick Henry's fantastic, folks. Bigs are taking over every single league, NFL, NBA. If you're not big and beefy, you're nothing. You're nothing in any league. If you're not big and beefy, you are nothing in the league. Don't even try, because it's not happening. And this is why we kind of say, folks, and I get pushback on this, and I get having pushback. I don't mind having pushback on anything I say. That's just natural. But I don't understand the big pushback when I say this. This is why you can't have GOATs, greatest of all times in any sports from like the 70s and 80s and 90s. Folks, just athleticism and just humans, beings. We're evolving. I mean, we evolve to play games, folks. Our brains evolve with all the information, the invention of the television, the invention of the radio. Our brains are growing now that we've got more information. You don't think our bodies are evolving now that we're introducing sports and equating that to money, and money's the only thing that matters in this world? You don't think the brain knows that? You don't think human evolution knows that? We evolve to our surroundings. So yes, we're all getting better every generation, every single year. We're evolving to fit our world. And the NFL, did y'all not know that NFL is king? NFL is the best sport, is the biggest sport in the world, folks, or in America at least. I think soccer has the world. Shout out to soccer. But the NFL in America, folks, it's king. No disrespect to the NBA. It still has its place, but it's not the NFL, folks. Look at the ratings. The ratings tell you everything you need to know. So, you just can't have GOATs. You just can't have GOATs from the 70s and 80s and 90s because we're all getting better. And Derrick Henry, if you put that man in the 70s, folks, it's a murder charge. You would get charged for murder if you were the one that sent Derrick Henry back to the 70s, because that man would be killing everybody on the field. And then they trace it. They'd be like, where the hell did this specimen come from? This man's a time traveler. Who sent him back? And then I would get blamed. Y'all would blame me. It'd be like, oh, it takes my fans. And then they would come and arrest me for 1,000 counts of murder. You think I want 1,000 counts of murder on my head? No, I don't. So you can't have GOATs from the 70s and 80s. It's just what it is. The athleticism is here. The talent is here. Just the natural human evolution is better, folks. We're all getting better. We're all trying to evolve. Thinking should be evolving as well. I think that's taking a little bit of a setback in today's world, but we digress on that. But yeah, Derrick Henry, folks, absolutely fantastic. Greatest running back of all time already. Alrighty, folks. You think we give out canvas spots willy-nilly, folks? Come on. No. Derrick Henry, canvas, greatest of all time. Come on. So yeah, folks, absolutely fantastic here by Derrick Henry. So good, missing all these games, missing all the games this season, and still 700 yards above Dalvin Cook since 2019. So great, fantastic. Hopefully this isn't the beginning, because usually, and I don't even want to say this because I don't even want to put this out there, so we'll knock on wood the entire time we're talking here. But Derrick Henry, folks, I don't want this injury to kind of be made a habit out of, because that's kind of what we see by running backs. One injury, look at Saquon Barkley. One injury, not really, back to the same way. So I really hope this does not derail Derrick Henry. We saw him in the playoffs and he looked fantastic. So if that's any indication, we won't have to worry about it. But I don't really want anything to happen to this man, because, man, oh man, this man is truly... he's a gift. He's a treat to watch every single Sunday. So, Derrick Henry, we absolutely love him. Alrighty, those were all the stories that we needed to talk about in the NFL for today. So now let's shift gears to the NBA, where we must finish up our official power rankings at the All-Star break. Now, yesterday we started part 1. We got through 8 teams, ranked them accordingly. And we still got 6 teams to go, talk through and see where they belong inside the top 10. In the top 10 at all. Number 1, number 2, where do they fall? Now, if you didn't join us yesterday on the show, we kind of took the top 7 teams from each. Hang on, let me get this here. We took the top 7 teams from each conference. I told y'all I'm not putting the Nets in the top 10 because I don't even love the team overall. I don't think Ben Simmons, I think the 76ers won the trade by a mile, and I don't think Ben Simmons is truly going to fit into the Nets, and I don't know if the Nets are going to be good. And once again, Kyrie Irving can only play half the games, and Kevin Durant is still out, and they've got nothing besides those players. So I'm not putting the Nets in the top 10. I'm not even going to give them the discussion. The Hawks, we were going to give them the discussion, but they kind of, let us down a little bit the last kind of 2 weeks of the season here. So they're not going to get into the initial top 10, though. They can work their way up, and so can the Nets. We'll reorder the top 10 on a weekly basis starting on Thursday. But we're getting our initial list at the All-Star break. So we're not talking the Nets. We're not talking the Hawks, not putting them in the top 10. And in the Western Conference, nobody under that 7th seed truly deserves to be in the top 10 as well. So we took the top 7 teams in each conference, and those are the teams that we're truly focusing in on for the potential top 10 and all that. Now, we have already talked about some teams, and this is what we have currently at the moment. Number 1 is the Suns. Number 2 is the Grizzlies. Number 3 is the 76ers. Number 4 is the Warriors. Number 4 is the Warriors. Jazz are the 5th. Cavs are the 6th. Heat are the 7th, and the Bulls are at number 8. Now, we still have to talk about the Bucks, the Mavericks, the Nuggets, the Celtics, the Raptors, and the Timberwolves, and it's going to be tough because these teams, we're talking about 6 teams and only 2 available spots. So some teams could be exiting here the top 10. And we're just taking this one team at a time, kind of, seeing how they compare to all the other teams that we've already talked about, and then filling it in accordingly at that point. What we are taking into consideration are quality wins, and quality wins are the top 6 teams if they are in a playoff spot at the current moment, not the play-in tournament, if they are in a playoff spot, the top 6 teams in the Eastern and Western Conference, that we count as a quality win. So we take quality wins into big consideration. The big surprise yesterday was the Bulls only having 6 quality wins, where everybody else is having 10 or more. So the Bulls, that's why they are at number 8 here and are in jeopardy of falling off the list, even though they have some great players, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Vucevic. So no big quality wins for the Bulls. That's why they're a little bit low here. So we take quality wins into consideration. We take overall roster, depth, ability, and the overall kind of the team's big 3. You need a big 3 to win in this league, folks. So what is the team's big 3? How are they good? And what is their depth situation? Are they deep? Do they have bench players, role players that can come out consistently and get it done? So those are kind of the big factors we are using when we order the top 10. So, with all that being said, let's continue on here with the next team up, and that team is the Milwaukee Bucks. And man, oh man, Giannis is still getting it done, and shout out to Bobby Portis filling in at the 5 because Brook Lopez has, been out for the majority of the season, but Bobby Portis has been filling in so gosh dang good out here, and this Bucks team can definitely repeat as champions. Absolutely. Midway part of this season, this is still a great team. Are they as good as they were last season? Yeah, I would say they're probably on the same level. Bringing in Grayson Allen, we like it. Grayson Allen's a solid defender. We see him get kind of carried away a little bit too much and can be suspended. He was already suspended for 1 game this season, and once we kind of ramp up the pressure and the urgency of winning, now that we're kind of heading towards the back end of the season where every game truly matters, trying to secure a playoff spot, we could get, that kind of, thug attitude by Grayson Allen, kind of tripping players, sticking his foot out, which there's absolutely zero, there needs to be zero tolerance for that in the league, folks. I mean, the NBA, it's all about the feet and landing and all that. Soft tissues injuries, keeping Klay Thompson out for 2 straight seasons, that's basically, ACLs, Achilles, that's like the brain injuries of the NFL. So Grayson Allen, he must clean it up, but he's never done it. That's the biggest knock that we have on Grayson Allen. We thought he cleaned it up this season, and he clearly did not. So we like Grayson Allen, the player, when he's not doing all the dirty stuff. So good defender, some nice threes, and that's really all he does. And that's kind of the biggest glaring spot by this Bucks team now. Since the trade deadline, I didn't love them getting rid of Pat Connaughton. Yeah, they got rid of Pat Connaughton, and once again, who's not here? It's Pat Connaughton, and where are these names at? Pat Connaughton got traded. I don't love that. Another guard. So they kind of, at the trade deadline, they went big. They got Serge Ibaka because no Brook Lopez. So let's take this step by step. I'm getting a little carried away. Brook Lopez, how long is he going to be out for? Because this is truly going to factor in on how great this Bucks team can be. Now, we know Bobby Portis is great. Don't get us wrong, but he's not as good of a defender as Brook Lopez. Bobby Portis is maybe a better shooter. Maybe he goes on some nice stretches. But overall, we need Brook Lopez for the kind of depth as well. We need him for the defense. So do we have a timetable on Brook Lopez here? So let's see quickly here. I don't want career stats, so I want Brook Lopez. That's all I want. Brook Lopez. What do we got? Center Brook Lopez talks about his back surgery in progress and returning to the road. That was a week ago. The Bucks missed Brook Lopez on both ends of the floor. That's 2 weeks ago. Will return in the regular season. All right, this is 2 weeks ago saying he will return in the regular season. Do we have any timetable? What do we got here? Quickly. Brook Lopez is on schedule. They remain optimistic. They're hopeful that he returns. All right. So they're optimistic that he comes back and will play in the regular season. Budenholzer says he remains hopeful that he will play in some regular season games. So, alrighty, we don't have anything official, and if he does come back, we're looking at maybe kind of the final few games of the season, and that's really kind of what that trade at the trade deadline signified. Hey, we need to bring in Serge Ibaka, another big, good defender, can shoot the three as well, because we're not going to have Brook Lopez, but they sacrificed at the guard position, getting rid of Pat Connaughton. Now you only have Drew Holiday, George Hill. Grayson Allen can't really play the one. He's not that great of a facilitator on the floor. Not the best passer. He's an okay passer, but not like Chris Paul level, obviously. So I didn't love that the Bucks kind of switched depth for bigs instead of guards. You've still got Giannis. You've got Bobby Portis. I mean, they've been making it work. And if you were so optimistic of Brook Lopez coming back at the end of the season, then there was no reason to make that trade in the first place. So I don't love that they got less deep at the guard position, got more deep at the big position. I don't think that's the perfect way to go. So I think that truly hurts the Bucks overall. But, I mean, their starting lineup of Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Bobby Portis, I mean, it's been getting it done. It's a winnable lineup here. I don't love the depth that much. Once again, no more guard, real depth. You bring in Serge Ibaka, who we do like. He gives great production. He can fill in and the starting lineup whenever he really kind of needs to. If Bobby Portis is out for a game, we can believe in Serge Ibaka to step it up in the starting lineup to be able to win that game. So I don't love the Bucks' depth here roster-wise. They've still got Giannis, who obviously is fantastic. Bigs in the league. Y'all know how we feel about the bigs. So roster-wise, Bucks a little lacking. And, that's what kind of got the Bucks a little bit in trouble last season. Not having, Drew Holiday kind of, wasn't he injured and they had to go to Pat Connaughton and all that? Now, the Bucks still won the ring last season. Fantastic. They were able to make it work, but, they were just able to make it work. And the Nets were, a toenail away from winning that overtime game in Game 7. Kevin Durant on the 2-point line instead of the 3-point line. So, don't love that by the Bucks. I didn't love the trade by the Bucks is the overall point of that. So now that we've got that talk through, now let's talk about their schedule. Are they beating the good teams, folks? Are we talking about good quality wins out here? Or are they going to surprise us like the Bulls did, only having 6 quality wins? That's so alarming, folks. I was truly mind blown when we read that yesterday on the show. I cannot believe that this Bulls team is just getting away with beating irrelevant teams and is this highly regarded in the media because of DeMar DeRozan, and that's fine. DeMar DeRozan's been having a great season, but it's not translating to wins against the better teams in the league, and we need to see that. If we're talking about you as one of the best teams in the league, you've got to be beating some of the best teams in the league. So we were truly disappointed about the Bulls yesterday on the show when we talked about that. All right, but here we go. The Bucks quality wins of this season so far up until the All-Star break. These are what we count quality wins at. In the Eastern Conference, the Heat quality win. Bulls, 76ers, Cavs, Bucks, and the Celtics. Top 6 in the Eastern Conference all have a secured playoff spot at the midway part of the season. And then in the Western Conference, we have the Suns, the Warriors, the Grizzlies, the Jazz, and the Nuggets. Those are all the quality wins in the Western Conference. So let's see how many quality wins this Bucks team has. Here we go. They have wins against the Nets, the Spurs, the Pacers, the Pistons, the 76ers. Quality win right there, 1. All right, what else do we got? We got wins against the Lakers, the Thunder, the Magic twice in a row, the Pistons, the Nuggets, another quality win, the Pacers, the Hornets, the Heat, quality win, the Cavs, a quality win, the Rockets, the Knicks, the Pacers, the Rockets, the Mavericks, quality win, the Celtics. Celtics are quality win, correct? Yeah, Celtics right on the verge of quality win. Love it. All right, so Celtics, that's number 7. We get wins against the Magic twice, the Pelicans, the Nets, the Warriors, quality win, the Grizzlies, quality win, the Bulls, quality win, the Kings, the Knicks, the Wizards, the Blazers, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Pacers, and oh my goodness, that is it. Oh my God, they've only got 9. Wow, Bucks, a little lackluster there. We really wanted to see you in double-digit quality wins. Suns had 14 quality wins alongside with the Grizzlies. That was the most that we've seen so far, 14 quality wins. Then we have the Warriors at 13. Then we have the Jazz and the 76ers both at 11 quality wins. The Heat at 10 quality wins. And then we have the Cavs and the Bucks right on that kind of cusp of double-digit quality wins at 9. Alrighty, so this Bucks team, not as many quality wins as we would like. Just kind of in the past month. Let's go back to January 21st. Let's get the last month of games up here. Quality losses, they've lost against the Cavs, the Nuggets, the Suns, the Blazers, and the 76ers. That's their last 5 losses. Really all quality teams. So this Bucks team kind of falling off a little bit. Bobby Portis's big 3 streak is not as good as it kind of has been. Since, the trade deadline, a little bit worse depth ability at the guard position. So we still love this Bucks team. I'm putting them over the Bulls. I'm putting them above the Bulls. I'm putting them above the Heat. And I don't know if I can put them above the Cavs. All right, I'll put them above the Cavs at number 6. I think that's where I'll go. Do I put them above the Jazz? I may put them above the Jazz as well. We're kind of falling out of love with this Jazz team. And once again, we've got to see Rudy Gobert truly pick it up at the back end of the season. But the Jazz have that depth ability, folks, and it truly should be coming all back together after the trade deadline since they're all healthy finally. All right, we're putting this Bucks team, we're going to put them at number 6. We're going to the Cavs. I don't want to disrespect the Cavs. I truly don't want to disrespect the Cavs, folks, by putting the Bucks ahead of them. The Cavs are fantastic, folks. Absolutely. So all right, that Like they're basically like a half a game separation. The Bucks, the Cavs, and the 76ers overall record wise are all just like a half a game, all within each other. So that's absolutely fantastic. But I am going to put the Bucks over the Cavs just because of the big, honestly. I love Jared Allen. Don't get us wrong. He's fantastic. All-star. He helped win the skills challenge for Team Cleveland this all-star break. So shout out to Jared Allen. Big, big, big time. But I am going to put the Bucks at number 6. And we're going to move the Cavs, the Heat, and the Bulls all down one spot. So the Bulls go from 8 to 9. The Heat go from 7 to 8. Oh, hang on. No. The Heat go to number 8 here. The Cavs go from 6 to 7. And we're going to put this Bucks team at number 6 here. Don't love that they kind of fallen off a little bit at the back end of the season. And we have seen that by, some of these teams here. Jazz have kind of fallen off at the kind of, back end of the season heading into the All-Star break. And, teams kind of looking forward to that mini break off, the celebrations and all that. So we can kind of get it, but we really need to see these teams right from the get-go, right out of that break and, reestablishing their dominance in the league. So we're going to put the Bucks at number 6 here. Alrighty, what else do we have up next here? Next team up that we've got to talk about is the Mavericks. Alrighty, this is kind of the one team that we can't really put our finger on. We run into these teams every so often. What was the NFL team that we just really could not put our finger on the pulse on? There was one team that we didn't know what they were. They are like the Vikings. They're just the anomaly of the league. Great stats. But for this Mavericks team, it is resulting into wins, unlike the Vikings. But this Mavericks team, they're winning. I don't love how they're winning. They don't have the big anymore. Getting rid of Porzingis at the trade deadline, and it really didn't hurt them. They were still winning, and Porzingis has been out a couple of games this season, and they still were winning decently without him. So this Mavericks team, they're going against kind of the overall narrative of you need a big. This is a bigs world now. The Mavericks were like, yeah, we don't care about that. Y'all are doing the bigs. Well, we're not doing the bigs. We're putting the foot down. We don't need the big here. Y'all need the big to win, but we got a Luka. So So if you got a Luka, you don't need a big, I guess, is the overall sentiment. But as you know, even with like the Hawks, I know Trae Young, it's not Luka Doncic. They're similar players. The Hawks have Clint Capella. So that's something, but Luka Doncic doesn't have that. So no bigs here with the Mavericks, but still winning games. Let's see how many quality wins. That's really going to be the key for this Mavericks team. How many quality wins? Because we may get a little bit of a surprise where this Mavericks team only has maybe like 6 quality wins like the Bulls. And if that's the point, I don't even think I put them in the top 10. So here we go. Their roster overall wise now after the trade deadline, we get Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Dwight Powell. I mean, that's their bigs, folks. Dorian Finney-Smith, Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber coming off the bench. And we know Maxi Kleber can shoot the 3. And who do they bring in? Getting rid of their bigs, they bring in Davis Bertans, Spencer Dinwiddie. I mean, shooters. Davis Bertans, love that. So they've got shooters everywhere. That's what this team is. And they're still not playing Boban. I mean, what the hell is going on? Can we give some mother-loving respect to Boban Marjanovic out here, please? Can we play this man? You've got no big. Boban, what is this man, like 7'4", 7'5"? What do we got by Boban? 7'3". Why is this man not playing any minute? I just don't get it. It's not like they don't play him at the back end of the season or anything like that. You don't even play him in the start of the season where it really doesn't matter. Where the NBA season really doesn't matter the first couple of months, the first month, 2-3 weeks of the season. Just play your guys. Figure out what you got. He doesn't even get playing time at that point. So that's probably the most disrespectful thing of the entire NBA season. Boban Marjanovic getting 0 play. We absolutely hate it. So you put Boban, what's the harm of playing Boban a couple of minutes a night? Start him off the bench, that's fine. I would like to see him in the starting lineup, but we're not going to get that. We know we're never going to get that, folks. This Mavericks team, they're shooters everywhere. They live and die by the 3, and they are 35-24, 5th, I believe, in the Western Conference at the current moment. Yes, 5th in the Western Conference at the current moment. So they're getting it done, and like we said, we don't like how they're winning. It doesn't look that great when I watch it, but it wins at the end of the day, so we can't truly knock it at this point. But let's see how many quality wins this Mavericks team has. Are they beating the good teams? Are they beating playoff caliber teams at the current moment? Or are they just feeding off of, the Knicks, which is easy to feed off of? So here we go. Are we going to be surprised, or is this Mavericks team going to surprise us in the opposite way? Having like 20. What if they have 20 quality wins? It would blow my mind, and I would be forced to put them as at the #1 team in the league. My hand would be forced at that point. But let's stop the speculation and find out. So here we go. Quality wins. Let's count them up here. Here we go. The Mavericks. They have wins against the Raptors, the Rockets, the Spurs, the Kings, the Spurs, the Celtics, quality win #1. The Pelicans, the Spurs, the Nuggets, quality win #2. The wins against the Clippers, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, quality win #3. The Thunder, the Hornets, the Timberwolves, the Blazers, the Kings, the Thunder, the Nuggets, a quality win. The Warriors, a quality win. The Rockets, the Bulls, another quality win. The Grizzlies, again, another quality win. The Magic, the Thunder, the Raptors, the Grizzlies, again, another quality win. The Blazers, the 76ers, quality win. The Hawks, the Pistons, the Clippers, the Heat, quality win. The Pelicans, wow, look at that, 10 quality wins for this Mavericks team. You gotta give them credit. We've got to give them credit. We've got no other choice but to give this team credit. We may not like it here, but that's too bad for me personally. They're winning games. I cannot knock it. Luka Doncic is still getting it done. The supporting cast is all getting it done. Maxi Kleber is hitting threes off the bench at the 5 position. It does not matter. They're winning games, and winning games cures all, folks. Really, at the end of the day, are you winning? Yes. Well, I can buy into you. I can bet into you, and we'll talk you up on the show. So, shout out to this Mavericks team. I'm going to put them above the Bulls, and I'm going to put them above the Heat. I'm not going to put them above the Cavs, but I am going to put them above the Heat. The Heat leaving a bad taste in our mouth. Once again, we've stripped the title away from the Heat. They are no longer the kennel. They are no longer the dogs, the big dogs. Dogs got to eat, dogs wagging, dogs sniffing, dogs tails wagging, ready. It doesn't matter. Any dog analogy is done with the Heat. They can earn it back, but it is done with the Heat. Hate how they've kind of ended the season up until the trade, up until the All-Star break. So we're going to move the Heat and the Bulls down one spot, and we're putting the Mavericks at number 8. We're going to put them at number 8. Gonna put them at number 8. All right, so here we go. Bulls go from number 9 to number 10, ready to fall off. It's like they're like what is that? Price is Right game, the yodeler. Right on the edge, looking to fall off. One more, you go over $1 more on that product, he's falling off the cliff. Cliffhanger. There it is. It all comes together, folks. Cliffhanger. The Bulls are the cliffhanger here, folks. They are ready to be knocked off. But shout out to the Mavericks at number 8, folks. Winning games, looking good. Luka Doncic doing it all. How are they going to be able to keep up that level of play? Once again, this is a bigs league. Are the Mavericks going to be the true exception to that rule? Well, so far they kind of are, but we will put them at number 8 at the All-Star break. Shout out to the Mavericks. That was good. That was impressive. 10 quality wins, folks. Got to give them credit for that. More quality wins than the Bucks and the Cavs and the Bulls. I mean, same amount of quality wins as the Heat. Shout out to the Mavericks. Shout out to the Mavericks. Absolutely. And I believe those were the Mavericks were one of our last good bets of the season so far since the break. Mavericks -2 right before one of their last games. They win by like 7. Fantastic. So there's bettability on the Mavericks, folks. We've known that, and they're winning games. So big time shout out to the Mavs, folks. Alrighty, what do we got? Next team up here. All right, we're going the Denver Nuggets. And man, oh man, I cannot tell y'all how impressed I am with this Nuggets team, folks. Truly big time impressive. Losing Jamal Murray for the entire year. He didn't even play. They had Michael Porter Jr. for a few games. How many games did Michael Porter Jr. actually play? Did he get to 20? Did he get to 20 games this season? But he goes out and he's going to be out for the entire year. So, I mean, that was their big 3. They lost their big 3. Now, they do have Aaron Gordon, but Aaron Gordon is not offensive. Michael Porter Jr. is offensive guy, 20 points a game, no problem. Jamal Murray is offensive point guard. He can put up 20 a game. We know the man can score. Do we not have to tell y'all and go back to that fantastic playoff series between Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell, the Nuggets and the Jazz, where it went 7 games, and every game it was Jamal Murray or Donovan Mitchell or both of them having like 40-point nights? We know Jamal Murray can be offensive, but they lose both of them, and it's just Aaron Gordon who rarely can give us 20 points a night, rarely give us 15 points a night. That's not his game. Good defender. We give him credit for that. Good? Yeah, good defender. Great? Nah, good defender. But they don't have the offense, and they're still winning because it's a Bigs world, baby. It's Jokic getting it done all by his lonesome out there, and they're the 6th seed in the Western Conference, looking real gosh dang good. Give this Nuggets team big time respect, overcoming every single obstacle that is in their way, and at the midpoint of the season, they're in the playoffs. Big time respect and big time credit to this Nuggets team. What do we got? Michael Porter Jr. How many games did he play this season? Only 9 games. Yeah, only 9 games this season. So, and they're still able to win games. Now, are they beating the best teams? That's something we're going to look at, but let's go back to their roster. This is their starting lineup. Monty Morris at the 1, Will Barton at the 2, Aaron Gordon at the 3, Jeff Green at the 4, and Jokic at the 5. Now, they do bring in Bryn Forbes. Bryn Forbes has been fantastic for this team. The offensive production that they've been lacking, Bryn Forbes has been making up. And shout out to Bryn Forbes, folks. The man is absolutely fantastic. Coming off the bench, I could even see him in the starting lineup. It wasn't Bryn Forbes. He was with the Bucks last season. Is my memory correct? This man played with the This man played with the Bucks last season, correct? Let me go back. See, this is why I hate ESPN. Can I just get the career stats up here, folks? Shout out to Pro Basketball Reference. That's all you should ever use. ESPN. Like, what the hell is, dude, honestly, what is ESPN, folks? ESPN is so dinosaur, folks. They're doing the same things, not innovating. They're wondering why their ratings are in the toilet and they have to bring in Peyton Manning and Eli Manning for Monday Night Football games to make them interesting again. That's their big plan. Let's have a podcast while watching sports. That's their big plan of bringing viewership back to the network, never evolving, never getting into kind of the esports market. That's a little bit like not tapped into as much as it probably should be. But I mean, ESPN, their website's trash, their stats are trash. There's like, you're supposed to be the sports thing. Like, that's your thing. That's all you do is sports. And you can't even be good sports television. You can't even be good sports website or stats or anything like that. So I don't know what the hell ESPN is, but it's not good. It's honestly not good at all. And no, I shouldn't probably be dissing ESPN because that's dissing Disney and that's dissing the entire world. And but I'm not. I don't think I'm censored by Big Disney, Big Mouse. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe that's why we're not growing, because we're actively knocking Big Mouse. You know what I mean? But Bryn Forbes, let's get him up. I'm almost 99% sure he was with the Bucks. Am I bugging? Let me see. Was he with the championship Bucks last season? 2020, 2021, yeah, championship season, yes. And then he went to the Spurs. That's right. That's where we got it. That's where it was a little fuzzy in my memory. That's right. He went to the Spurs this season, and then he got traded off the Spurs to the Nuggets. All right, now we get it. All right. But either way, Bryn Forbes, he's fantastic, folks. This man is an undervalued role player. I was a little disappointed that the Bucks got rid of him. Once again, got a little bit less deep at that guard position. Hopefully that doesn't turn back and bite the Bucks in the butt as they make their, repeat attempt this season. But shout out big time to Bryn Forbes. This man can hit the three, folks. What is he shooting? 42% from the three. 42. Why was this man not in the 3-point contest? Give that man a spot. I want to see Bryn Forbes in the 3-point contest next season. You understand me, Bryn? Get in there. NBA, invite that man in the 3-point contest, shooting 42% this season. Love it. All right, back to the overall roster for this Nuggets team. Let's click off of Bryn Forbes. All right, so yeah, getting Bryn Forbes out the bench. Austin Rivers, solid as well. He can facilitate the floor, so, and then you can bring in Bones Highland. You get Facundo Campazzo, so a nice, real deep team as of now. Bringing in Demarcus Cousins, we'll see if he can kind of, rejuvenate himself, because that's what we've been seeing, folks. JaVale McGee, fantastic. Andre Drummond, fantastic big. Role bigs, older bigs, great bigs in their prime. Demarcus Cousins, kind of same way, kind of still a little bit in his prime. Is this man 30 yet? What do you got, Demarcus Cousins? 31, so, okay, yeah. We know Demarcus Cousins can be very impactful down low. Got to stay healthy. That's the biggest knock on him. But still, fantastic, great plays by the big, and all you have to do is back up Jokic. That's not that hard to do. The man, he plays the entire game mostly, so you only have to come in a couple of minutes a game and do okay. So, overall, this Nuggets team, they're sneaky, folks. Not kind of the big superstars. They've got one, they've got one superstar on the team. That's joking. I'm not counting Aaron Gordon as a superstar anymore. I'm done with that. So overall, the Nuggets really have a sneaky, deep role-playing team. Now, what do we need to get the best out of role players? We need leadership on the floor, and we get that by Jokic, but we also need great coaching. And the Nuggets, they've got a good coach. What's the name? Nuggets coach. Let me bring up this man's name. Blanking on the name. But the reason why I bring up the coach is because, look at the Raptors. A lot of role players, maybe one superstar. You want to give it to VanVleet, want to give it to Siakam. I can kind of maybe, give y'all that clearance to name one of those two superstars, all-stars, whatever you want to call it. But what makes the Raptors so good is Nick Nurse bringing out the best of that Raptors team on a gamely basis. Do the Nuggets have that in our man Nuggets head coach? Malone, Michael Malone out here. He's good. He's good. I don't know if he's as good. I think I take Nick Nurse over Michael Malone, but overall solid coach here by the Nuggets. So we've seen Bryn Forbes, Bone Highland, Austin Rivers. We've seen them be good for Facundo Campazzo as well. So this Nuggets team, they've got some nice guards to make up for, no Jamal Murray. That kind of great shooting guard, 3, small forward, whatever, Michael Porter Jr. Do they really have somebody to make up for him? Bryn Forbes, a little bit. So Aaron Gordon is definitely not, the 3 scorer like Michael Porter Jr. is or anything like that. So missing a little bit of Michael Porter Jr., but overall, Jokic and these role players at the guard position are truly getting it done. Like we said, 6 in the Western Conference at the midway point of the season. It deserves some respect. So now let's see. How many quality wins does this Nuggets team have? Hopefully it's a good, decent number. I would love to have this Nuggets team inside the top 10. But if they don't have the quality wins, it's going to be tough to keep them in the top 10. So let's count the wins here by this Nuggets team. We love the roster. That gets the big check mark. Now do they get the check mark in the quality win department? Here we go. First game of the season, and they come out and beat the Suns. Oh, yeah, in dominating fashion. They beat them by 12. Ooh, that's a big old quality win. That's one quality win right off the rip. Love it. All right, so they got wins against the Suns. That's one. The Spurs, the Mavericks, another quality win. The Timberwolves, the Rockets, the Heat, another quality win. The Pacers, the Hawks, the Blazers. Ooh, and then they go on this big old losing streak. Yikes. But then they beat the Heat to get out of it. That's a quality win. They beat the Knicks, the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Wizards, the Hawks, the Clippers, the Warriors. That's a quality win. The Rockets, they got wins against the Kings, the Thunder, the Blazers, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Pistons twice, the Nets, the Pelicans, the Bucks, a quality win. Then they beat the Nets and the Knicks and the Raptors and the Magic and the Warriors. So we got 7 quality wins. Well done to get a quality win right before the All-Star break. Their final game Wednesday, February 16th. They beat the Warriors by 1 point. That's a quality win. So a little bit light overall by the quality wins here. So still need this Nuggets team to continue to get better, continue to get, the best out of Bryn Forbes, continue to have Austin Rivers try to be good, and Jokic continuing to do his thing that he gets absolutely slept on for. So this Nuggets team, where can we put them? Well, I'm going to put them over the Bulls, absolutely. So the Bulls are now officially out of the top 10, and I don't know if I can put them over the Heat at the current moment. So we're going to have Nuggets at that kind of falling off cliff hanger at that 10th spot, and we'll keep the Nuggets here at number 10 going into our last final 3 teams before we've got our final top 10, folks. So Nuggets, I love them, folks. And once again, Jokic for MVP of, overcoming all of this. James Harden, yeah, he didn't have Ben Simmons, but they were still winning games really good, and we didn't really see that they were lacking offensively or defensively or kind of point guardly, facilitating the floorly, leadershiply. We didn't really see the 76ers lose that much from no Ben Simmons. We were kind of like, all right, good, but no more Ben Simmons. Like, now we can move on. We like Tyrese Maxey over Ben Simmons. We'll say that. I don't care. The man can shoot, the man can facilitate the floor, the man can rebound, the man is good. We don't need a 6'11 point guard that can't shoot, okay? Good luck with the Nets. Truly good luck getting along with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. We know they're not the most likable personalities to get along with, so good luck, Ben Simmons. Because they'll criticize you. They'll criticize you. They will maybe subtweet, sub something. They will sub something Ben Simmons, and we know Ben Simmons gets into his feelings, and so he would fit right into Kevin Durant and a little bit of Kyrie Irving. So this Nets team, it's not working out, folks. This is why we're not putting them in even the top 10 discussion. I don't want to hear it. So yeah. The 76, so Joel Embiid kind of front runner for MVP. Steph Curry kind of found his way. I believe Steph Curry is officially number 1 now at the All-Star break for MVP. Is this correct? I don't agree, especially with the last 2 weeks that he's had, truly letting us down, 3-point wise and all that. What do we got here? Champion. We don't got MVP odds. Conference winner, division winner to make the playoffs. Player stats, scoring leader. Yeah, well, we don't got MVP. No MVP odds. So once again, the DraftKings, I don't get what's going on here. I guess in New York, how we were trying to bet the All-Star games and all that. I guess in New York, you can't bet on anything that has judges on voting. So that's why we couldn't bet on the dunk contest here in New York. We still couldn't bet on the 3-point contest. And I guess we can't bet on exhibition games in New York. So that's why we can't do a lot of All-Star. But then we could bet on the All-Star game. So there's some rules with the New York betting that I don't really get all together. We can bet some things, can't bet the others. But what do we got for MVP? We can't bet MVP? I thought Steph Curry has the best odds, but I thought I just saw that somewhere over the last couple of days. All right, whatever. But I do believe Steph Curry is kind of MVP front runner, then Joel Embiid, then Jokic. But that's why I'm kind of saying maybe Jokic over Joel Embiid, because Jokic, no Jamal Murray right off the rip, and then losing Michael Porter Jr., and then he's still getting wins. I think that deserves MVP over Embiid, and Jokic better from last season to this season, and Jokic won MVP last season. He's doing better this season, so don't do the Aaron Rodgers where he had a better MVP season and then declined and then still won MVP. Doesn't make any sense to me still, but whatever. But overall, shout out to the Nuggets, shout out to Jokic, and he is kind of my MVP front runner at the current moment. But we will put this Nuggets team at number 10. All right, final 3 teams. Let's see, can any of these teams get into the top 10? Can they have a nice spot in the top 10? Can we maybe make one of these teams the number 1 seed? Let's find out. So the next team up here is the Boston Celtics, and I gotta give this Celtics team so much credit. They figured it out, folks. We absolutely hated the Celtics team early on, the first month, 2 months, month and a half of the season. We were not believers in the Celtics team at all. It was so Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum heavy. Nobody else was facilitating the floor. They had no great guard play. The bigs, Robert Williams was solid, but then having Al Horford at the 4, how long is that going to last? And they weren't winning at all and looking really not good at all. Not fluid at all. But the last month, sheesh, what a 180 turnaround. So I got to surely shout out the Celtics head coach, and I'm probably going to butcher his name, so let me bring it up here. Celtics head coach Ime Udoka. Fantastic job here so far at the head coaching position. First year here, replacing Brad Stevens. Not the easiest team to work with. You've got some superstars, but that's really it. You got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. That's really all he had. No great dominant big in a dominating big league. Having Dennis Schroeder kicked out of LA with Marcus Smart, who's always been just I would say Marcus Smart's always been, oh yeah, good, Marcus Smart, yeah, good, not superstar, all-star, elite category, tier 1, anything like that. But, this man was floundering. The team was floundering in the first half of the season. But they've cleaned it up, and that's what coaching is. That's what coaching is, getting better. All right, we're trash now. Doesn't mean we still have to be trash forever. Getting better. What is working? What is not working? Fixing what is not working. All right, what the hell can I do? All right, let's kind of move the ball. More ball movement. That's what we've been seeing. Marcus Smart moving the ball, facilitating the floor, and I really think that was the key of unlocking this Celtics team, of being really good now. What do we got the Celtics team? 4th, 5th in the Eastern? 6th in the Eastern Conference, ready to kind of continue to make some headway here. About 2 games back from being from number 3 to 6. So this is a good team now, folks. 9-1 in their last 10. Big time shout out to head coach Ime Udoka. Shout out to that man. Absolutely very well done. Also, shout out Marcus Smart. And we were a little worried that the man was going to be out for big time. But a little bit of an injury scare in one of their final like 3 games. But he's good to go. He should be good to go after the All-Star break. And if not, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks max, I would say, before this man returns to the lineup. So we're good. Because we were just starting to love the Celtics. And then we saw Marcus Smart go down. And we thought it was ACL. But it was just ankle sprain, ankle twist. No big deal. So the fact that Marcus Smart is still healthy, absolutely love it. They bring in Derek White at the trade deadline, which was just so mind-blowingly great. Genius. I mean, I didn't see that happening at all. Well, we wanted more guard play by the Celtics team, so they get rid of Dennis Schroeder, who wasn't really doing anything that greatly consistent, and then they bring in Derek White, who has a big old ceiling. And not only do they bring in Derek White, they just bring in Derek White to kind of come off the bench. I don't know. Once Marcus Smart gets 100% healthy, if Derek White will overtake that starting point guard role, I don't think so. So just having Derek White coming off the bench, yeah, just kind of being kind of the 6th option out here, 5th option if you want to call it. So that's fantastic. Love that. Bringing in more bench guard depth. That's truly what they need. Robert Williams still good to go, a little banged up as well, but overall he should be good to go. Daniel Tice, we don't love. They brought in Daniel Tice back at the trade deadline as well. Don't love it. We've never loved Daniel Tice. We didn't love him last year with the Celtics. We didn't love him this year with the Rockets, and we still don't really love him back here with the Celtics. But now that he's truly playing the number 2, Robert Williams is still the number 1. Love Robert Williams over Daniel Tice, and we were saying that all last season. Having Al Horford at the 4. I don't know how long that's going to last, so we can shout out these bigs, Al Horford, the Andre Drummonds, the JaVale McGee's, but they are, a little aging out of the league. Where are they going to be able to keep it up for the back end of the season? Are they going to be good and productive on the floor when they get in the playoffs and having to go 7-game series after 7-game series after 7-game series just to get to another 7-game series? So shout out to Al Horford and shout out to all these kind of, older bigs that are still getting it done in the first half of the season. But is it going to last? That's something that we're definitely going to be keeping our eye on as we head into the back end of the season. Al Horford, 35. No disrespect, but that's a little bit old in the NBA. I mean, LeBron's 36, okay? I mean, no spring chickens, okay? But he is still getting it done right now. How long is it going to last? So longevity here for the Celtics may be a little bit in question, but overall, with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown being superstars and getting it done pretty much on a consistent basis, with Marcus Smart or Derek White facilitating the floor, this is still a really good, solid team. Not the deepest, because, we got Peyton Pritchard, Aaron Nesmith, who are not developed at all. They can't give us any great positive production. And lackluster bigs. So, these are not tier 1 bigs. These are not even really kind of tier 2 bigs. They rely on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to do it all. Maybe I would put Robert Williams in tier 2, but like below middle, not like middle tier 2, maybe end tier 2, back end tier 2. Still tier 2, but back end tier 2. So overall, Celtics, I like that they are winning now, but I don't love the depth of the roster overall. And now let's go to their schedule, because they have been getting wins as of recently. Are they quality wins, or are these just bull jive wins that are just not it? So here we go for this Celtics team. Let's count the quality wins. Need something good if they want to crack the top 10. We already have the top 10 set, so they're going to have to show us something to try to move one of these teams out of here. Let's see if they do that. Here we go. Celtics have wins against the Rockets, the Hornets, the Magic, the Heat. That's a quality win. The Raptors, the Bucks, a quality win. The Cavs, a quality win. The Lakers, the Thunder, the Rockets, the Raptors, the 76ers, quality win number 4. Wins against the Blazers, the Bucks again. That's a quality win. The Knicks, the Cavs again, that's a quality win. The Suns, a quality win. We're at 7. They beat the Knicks. They beat the Pacers twice back-to-back. They beat the Bulls, quality win. They beat the Pelicans. They beat the Wizards, the Kings, the Pelicans, the Heat again, a quality win. The Hornets, the Pistons, the Magic, the Nets, the Nuggets, a quality win. The Hawks, the 76ers, quality win. That's 11. Oh, baby. baby. Love it. And look at how, I mean, folks, this is what I'm talking about. The last month, look at this last month, folks. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins and like 3 losses in the last month. That's beautiful. Absolutely perfection. And they're beating the playoff teams right now. The 76ers, the Nuggets, the Heat. They're beating these teams as of recent. Big time credit to this Celtics team. Okay, so now where do we move this team at? Man, this top 10, folks, it's close. This is close. This is a really competitive top 10, honestly. I don't know if I want to move the Nuggets out of the top 10. The Heat on real thin ice with us, truly. But I got to put the Celtics team in the top 10. 11 quality wins. Oh, my God, that's so deserving. So deserving. Especially as of recently. They figured it out, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. I want to see, if you're trash in the first month, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to really hold that against you. We will still take that into consideration. But if you're winning at the end, the back end of seasons, the middle part of the season, that's what I really want to see, you getting better. Man. Celtics. Can I put them over the Nuggets? Do we move the Nuggets out? Do the Nuggets fall off the cliff, folks? Do the Nuggets fall off the cliff? I love with the I want to respect this Celtics team. Like, I don't want to just put them at 10. I want to move them up a bit. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what we're going to do. I'm sorry for the Nuggets. They got to move out of the top 10. I've got no choice here, folks. My hands are tied. The Nuggets must fall out of the top 10. It pains me to do so, but that's what it's looking at the current moment. I want to respect Jokic for getting it done by his lonesome. The Heat have let us down. When was this last quality win by the Heat? Because I may switch it up a little bit. Let's go back to the Heat. I want to keep the Mavs in the top 10. I got to keep this Mavs team in the top 10, truly. This Heat team, though, when was their last quality win? If it didn't come in the last month, I'm moving them out of the top 10. They won't be number 9. So their last wins, Hornets, Nets, Pelicans, Wizards, Hornets, Spurs, Clippers, Knicks, Lakers, Blazers. Yeah, they don't have a quality win in the last month, folks. And they face quality teams. They lost against the Celtics. That was their quality opponent that they could have beaten. They lost to the Mavericks, another quality opponent that they could have beaten. So yeah, I'm moving the Heat out of the top 10. I'm done with that. I'm done with the Heat. They need to prove themselves. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the Heat out of the top 10. I'm going to move the Mavericks from 8 to 9, and then I'm going to put the Celtics at number 8. That's exactly what I'm going to do, so I can keep the Nuggets at number 10, move the Heat out of the top 10, move the Mavs from 8 to 9, and then I squeeze the Celtics in at number 8. That's what I feel very comfortable doing. Yes, that's it. That's it, folks. There it is. Love it. Love it. We got 2 more teams to talk about, so here we go. All right, next team up here is the Raptors. Now, while we're talking about this team, they are not currently in the top 6 in the Eastern Conference, on the borderline of number 7, but they've been so good as of late, and that's why I want to kind of give this Raptors team some respect if they can crack the top 10. So, let's talk about this Raptors team. Shout out to Nick Nurse. Love him as a coach. And shout out big time to our MVP candidate, folks. Pascal Siakam. Put him at the 2, put him at the 5, put him at the 4. Does not matter. Pascal Siakam gives us great production wherever he is needed, given who's in and out on this Raptors team. So shout out to Siakam, shout out to Scotty Barnes, potential Rookie of the Year candidate, well done. Fred VanVleet, who is on his bullshit this season. Is this man averaging like, I want to say the man's averaging like 26 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. I'm going to say 24, 4-7. That's what I'm going to say. 24, 4-7. What do we got? Fred VanVleet. Ooh, 21, 4-7. So a little bit, we gave him a little bit more credit for the points, but yeah, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Bango, bango. Fred VanVleet is having an exceptional season out here. Shout out to Fred VanVleet. Gary Trent Jr. getting it done. Is he giving us more than 15 points a game? 18, 2-2, baby. Yes, sir. Gary Trent Jr. getting it done. Still that, shooting guard. That's all he needs to be. Decent defender, good three-point shooter, letting Fred VanVleet facilitate the floor. Fred VanVleet's like averaging 10 threes a game, folks, and that's why we bet him in the three-point contest. He let us down, floundered big time. But luckily for Fred VanVleet, the three-point contest does not factor into our top 10, because if it did, we would not even be talking about the Raptors. So you're lucky, Fred VanVleet. OG Anunoby at the 3. We get the bench of Precious. We get Chris Boucher. We get him coming off the bench. So not the deepest team. And they truly rely on their starters. I mean, when we see this team winning games, it's not because the bench is giving us, multiple double-digit performers or anything like that. It's because 1 through 5 in the starting lineup have fantastic nights. So they truly rely on their starters to all get it done. Nick Nurse coaches the starting team fantastic. Loves to play the starters. Like, it's not like, the bench are floundering because they're not getting, because it's not like this Raptors bench is floundering because they're getting 25 minutes a game and they're just not good and efficient or anything like that. I mean, Nick Nurse loves to just play his starters. The bench gets solid quality minutes, but they don't go above and beyond on the minutes. They really love to hone in on the starting 5. So we love Nick Nurse. We love the starting 5 here. They bring in Thaddeus Young, and man, oh man, what an absolute pickup here at the trade deadline. We love Thaddeus Young. He still gives us great production coming off the bench here. He doesn't need to be the starter, doesn't need to be a main scoring option, just a nice defending big, and that's exactly what we can get from Thaddeus Young. So love the starters here by the Raptors. They've been winning as of recently. They have an MVP candidate on the roster, or they should at least. I mean, you all need to start respecting Pascal Siakam. He doesn't have to win it. Doesn't even have to be kind of the front runner or the second, but he needs to be in the conversation. It really should go Jokic, Joel Embiid, DeMar DeRozan, Pascal Siakam. That's really how it should go, and I guess Curry worked his way in there somehow. I don't know if I agree with that, but Vegas does, but we'll see. But shout out to Pascal Siakam. All right, now let's count the quality wins here for this Raptors team. Here we go. Looking for some quality wins here. Here we go. They got wins against the Celtics, the Pacers, the Magic, the Pacers, the Knicks, the Wizards, the 76ers, another quality win, number 2. They beat the Kings, the Grizzlies, quality win. They beat the Bucks, a quality win. The Wizards, the Knicks, the Kings, the Warriors, a quality win. They beat the Clippers, the Knicks, the Spurs, the Bucks, the Jazz, 2 quality wins back-to-back. Ooh, sheesh, flex on them. They beat the Pelicans. They beat the Bucks again. Oh, my goodness, we're at 8. They beat the Wizards, the Blazers, the Hornets, the Heat, quality win. The Hawks, the Heat again. The Bulls, another quality win. The Hawks, the Hornets, the Thunder, the Rockets, and then the Timberwolves. So, man, oh man, that's 11 quality wins by this Raptors team. Respect this Raptors team, folks. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing, because I'm going to put this Raptors team at number 10. I love the Nuggets, folks. Don't get me wrong, but the Raptors, I believe, have a more complete team overall. They've got more quality wins than the Nuggets by 4, but I gotta put this Raptors team at number 10, folks. I'm super impressed. Like we said, what do we say? 8-2 in their last 10 over the last month. Let's get that up here. From January 21st all the way up until today, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins in 4 losses in the last month. Big time, fantastic here. They had an 8-win streak, beating the Heat, the Bulls. The Hawks are good. They beat them twice during this stretch as well. So gotta give this Raptors team so much credit. They did end up losing to the Nuggets, but only by 1 point. Real close game. Still give credit to the Nuggets for winning, but close game overall. And in a little bit of a, I got to put the Raptors at number 10. Move the Nuggets out of number 10. So I'm putting the Raptors at number 10, folks. Love it. Love this Raptors team, folks. Can't get enough of this Raptors team. All right, final team to have consideration in our power rankings. We're going to Timberwolves, folks, and we love the big three of the Timberwolves: Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, all magnificent. Now, Anthony Edwards has truly let us down in the last couple of games. We don't know what the hell this man is doing. Let's get his point totals. I want to say this man has not scored 10 or more points in like the last 5 games. Am I going a little bit too extreme? Here we go. Let's go to his game logs. Just the last couple of games here. 6 points, 9 points. Then he had 37, 31, and 26. So, all right, maybe I'm focusing in on a little bit of the last 2 games here. But the last 2 games right before the All-Star break, and you start to flounder a little bit. He also had a 5-point game on February 8th. So, this month, little up and down. 3 games that are good, 3 games that are bad ever since February. So, let's clean that up a little bit up here, Anthony Edwards. So, all right, maybe that was a little bit too much of an exaggeration of Anthony Edwards letting us down. All righty. So we'll retract that a little bit. The last 2 games, though. Tighten that up. But overall, the big three, they rely so much on their big three. Whenever we see this Timberwolves team win, it's always big three getting it done, 30-plus points all the way around, and we don't really get that much from the role players for kind of 2 reasons. One reason, all the points are coming from the big three, so there's not that many points to be had, and overall, I mean, the big three are just ball dominant in general. You got the point guard in D'Angelo Russell. You got the small forward shooting guard. Anthony Edwards can play wherever the hell. He can hit the three. He can put anybody on a poster. And then you got Karl Anthony Towns at the big. So you really have every facet of a basketball team with the big three. So yeah, the role players are going to not be touching the ball so much and all that. Patrick Beverley hasn't been the best, and we just need him to be a defender out here. So, points isn't his game. Coming off the bench, having Malik Beasley, Jordan McLaughlin, Teron Prince, nothing that fantastic. So they're not the deepest team overall. Once again, just relying so much on that big three. And it's a great big three. It's a fantastic big three. I love this Timberwolves team. I don't think they are progressing as well as I wish they had last season when the big three played together. I mean, they were getting it done at the back end of the season. But now this season, they've really played all the games together. D'Angelo Russell has missed a few games here. But overall, for the most part, the big three has been together. And they're only 31-28, basically like 500. They're not in a playoff spot at the current moment, the 7th seed in the play-in tournament. So I just wish this Timberwolves team progressed a little bit better. Don't see this team overall growing when they really should be growing. This is a fantastic young big three that needs to capitalize. So I just wish they were a little bit better at the current moment. But once again, after the trade deadline or after the All-Star break, maybe they truly just tie it all together and move forward and start hitting some quality wins out here. All right, now let's see what do we got quality wins-wise with this Timberwolves team, and we'll see if we can make a spot for them in the top 10. Really interested to see how many quality wins this Timberwolves team has, because this could be like a Bulls situation where they only have like 6 or a lot less than 6. But let's see, are they like a Suns with 14, or are they like a Bulls with 6? And then we'll see if we can put this team somewhere in the top 10. So here we go. This Timberwolves team has wins against the Rockets, the Pelicans, the Bucks. Look at that. That's a quality win. And then they go on this big-ass losing streak. What the hell is this? Then they're back to winning against the Lakers. Then they beat the Kings, the Spurs, the Grizzlies, a quality win. The Pelicans, the Heat, a quality win. The 76ers, a quality win. The Pacers, then another big losing streak. And then they're back to winning against the Blazers, the Nuggets, a quality win. The Mavericks, a quality win. They beat the Celtics, a quality win. They beat the Clippers, the Thunder twice in a row. The Rockets, the Warriors, a quality win. Then they beat the Nets, the Blazers. They beat the Jazz, the Nuggets, 2 quality wins back-to-back. The Pistons twice back-to-back. The Kings, they beat the Pacers, and then the Hornets. So, alrighty, real solid here with the Timberwolves. 10 quality wins up until the All-Star break. That's really solid, really respectable. And then look, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now, we told y'all we are going to be updating this power rankings list every week. We're going to do it on Thursdays. We're not going to do it this Thursday because that's the resumption of the NBA season. Next Thursday, it will be every Thursday. We will do the power rankings. And this Timberwolves team, I don't know if we can move this team into the top 10. I'm not gonna I'm gonna keep the Raptors at 10, the Mavs at 9, the Celtics at 8. Can't really see this Timberwolves team in the top 10 just quite yet, but lucky for this Timberwolves team, this is their next 4 opponents after the All-Star break. Grizzlies, 76ers, Cavs, Warriors. All quality wins if they can get the win. So that's the deal, Timberwolves. We're gonna leave you out of the top 10, but if you can win 3 out of the 4 of these 4, 2 of 2, we'd have to kind of discuss. But if you can win 3 or 4 of the 4 here, I can potentially see a top 10 spot in the future for this Timberwolves team. So they've got the chance. The opportunity is right in front of them. Let's see if they carpe diem. Yes, seize the moment. So Timberwolves, you're not in the top 10, but can definitely get there easy peasy real quick in like the next 2 weeks. So take advantage. I want to see you take advantage. Alrighty, so our final top 10, I think I'm good with how this looks, folks. I think I'm good with this. Here we go, our top 10 at the All-Star break, folks. Here we go. We got the Suns at 1, the Grizzlies at 2, the 76ers at 3, the Warriors at 4, the Jazz at 5, the Bucks at 6, the Cavs at 7, the Celtics at 8, the Mavs at 9, and the Raptors claiming that final 10th spot in our top 10 of our midpoint of the season power rankings. Congratulations to all the teams on here. Well done for being good consistently throughout the entire season. Maybe some catching a little bit of fire to the All-Star break. Well done for all the big threes on this list. Love the big three. And we'll see if the bigs can still continue to dominate the league in the back end of this season. So that is our top 10 heading at the All-Star break. Alrighty, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We are back tomorrow around noon Eastern. Tomorrow on the show, we will be walking through the playoffs as if they ended today, as in if the All-Star break was the end of the season, how would the playoffs look? Who would win? And who would win the championship if the season has ended today? So we'll walk through that tomorrow and crown our mid-season champions and see how that plays out. And then we are also still looking to kind of get our final thoughts for every NFL team. We'll see if we can squeeze that. Tuesdays, Thursdays, a little bit of a shorter show. Not too much shorter, folks. Don't disrespect us. We'll still do probably an hour, but a little bit of a shorter show on Tuesdays, Thursdays, so we'll see what we can get to. All right, folks, but that's going to do it for us today. We don't see any news breaking. I do not see. So we are cool to call it for today. And once again, thanks for tuning in, folks. We absolutely love it. Hope you come back tomorrow, and we will see you tomorrow then. Have an absolutely great one, folks. Don't worry, folks. Don't worry. Only a few more days of not being able to bet on the NBA. We can get through it, folks. I know we can. Stay tough. Stay strong. We'll see you tomorrow.